Hello and welcome to the cold case Eviana Rauter. Murder of Eviana Rauter, also known as the Portbou girl or the bride of Portbou. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about the fact that everything you can find about the case, all the podcasts, all these articles, all the stuff, it all originates from the fabrication, the false story told by the first journalists and also the Los Crimes episodes and stuff. So the first articles that were written, before the internet, in the 90s, first article that were written about the death of Evi Rauter are based on the fabricated facts. The people from Portbou who wrote articles or who presented themselves as some witnesses, what they saw on that morning on 4th of September and all that stuff, it's pretty much all false. It's all fabricated, it's all lies. For what we know now, everybody talk like on 4th of September they saw the body of the girl hanging on that pine tree. The pine tree is can be seen from big pine tree on that hill. The cemetery hill can be seen from far distance. So all these people talking, they saw the body of the girl from the boat, from the streets, from the beach and stuff. Yet nobody saw the red van of the Austrian campers nearby. Later on, they all talk about the campers, but they didn't mention just if you are watching that pine tree and you see the girl, just in that view, you see a big Volkswagen van that was never mentioned, and it was parked where is the entrance of the cemetery nearby, where is the mirador of Portbou, like this terrace where it was a big tent where part of the Austrian campers slept. From the Guardian article, there is a statement from one member of that group of the Austrians, which part of that group, huge, mostly they were a music band. It's called Emerald something, and they would perform in the Spain and Portugal. They used to pass by, visit Portbou, and but nobody talks about that thing. But that's not important. You can find photos of the Evi hanged, that was supposedly taken the morning on 4th of September before the arrival of the judicial police from Figueras that did the investigation. And there are 3 photos that you can find online. And these photos were not taken. I don't know if the people claiming that took them where in one photo is the girl from the Evis filmed photograph from the back with a bed sheet, covered with a bed sheet, and there are 2 photos where you can see from the right side of the girl with the building in the street of Pujada de Mirador in the background, from very close up, so from 1 meter, 2 meters distance, One is black and white, supposedly taken by Carlos Cerrijo, and the other one, a colored one. Probably you'll find online the blurred version with the face of Evie blurred. But these three photos were not taken on the 4th of September in the morning. They were taken just before the sunset on the 3rd of September, the day before. And I have videos where I'm showing some of the details. Of course, YouTube is very restrictive. My videos are very carefully made not to get me another strike. I got a strike on one video, and then I had to be very careful with explicitity of that of the details that I'm showing there. Anyway, these photos taken by the people from Portbou before the arrival of police were taken at the sunset the day before, and you know, just if you find any experts, I mean anybody who could examine these photos and whose opinion would like stand like a piece of evidence in the court, would find that those photos were filmed at the sunset. Now I think that everybody who would watch my videos where I'm showing the details, where you can, with sunlight and the shades, where you can, of course, and if you look geographically in Portbou, so you can orient it yourself. You see where is the sun going down in Portbou, where is the sun going up. You would, without mistake, even a child could determine like if those photos were taken in the morning or in the evening, just before the sunset. But I think it's inevitable that in the future somebody is going to examine those things, you know. I would say that there is some kind of censorship going on, where the people there in that region near Portbou are just scared of some influential people that are connected, that are friends of this group who murdered this group from Portbou, the secta, because the motive of the murder was ritualistic sacrifice of Evie to this grave that's on that hill, you know, like the cemetery is on the top of the hill, on the back side of the hill, and on that slope where the pine tree is, this pine tree is planted, maybe not for the purpose of sacrifice, but it's some kind of symbol. It's on that plain that is surrounded by this gravestones, tombstones of some old temple, whatever, Neolithic structure there. But I'm sure that under that hill there is like what they call necropolis, the bones from or stuff of all of these people that were using like this big Neolithic grave where people would in some sort of cave or something where they are buried, you know. And then it's, if you just look at the Portbou, how it was built, you know, by the laws that are from the 19th century, when the end of the 19th century, where the cemetery was built there, I think in year 1884. The cemeteries by the Spanish law should be separated for the sanitary reasons from the places, houses where people live, and it would be logical that they would put the cemetery, on the northern part of the town, where on the northern part of that port, the terrain is not so steep. It's easier to build, and it's far away from the buildings. If you look at the cemetery of Portbou, by the aerial line, it's like 50 meters from this city house. It's they had two graveyards there. First, they made a cattle graveyard that was first built by the railway company that bought lots of land in the Portbou to build a station and build all the logistics there, and the house the railway staff, railway personnel, and later there was a civilian graveyard because the Portbou had lots of Freemasons, and they built their own cemetery just nearby. So it had like three cemeteries. The old Neolithic cemetery that was there for, I don't know, thousands of years before, the Portbou was populated by some fishermen and some smugglers there, and later on there was this carabinieri, some kind of police there near border, but you had this old Neolithic cemetery. When they built the Portbou, they kind of saw it as like some significance, and they revived this I don't know, ancient religion or whatever, worship of that graveyard, which was at the same time in the Neolithic times. The graveyard was also sacred place, and they have built a cemetery just above that slope. The slope is on the eastern side of Portbou. So on the western side, you have this tunnel of the Riera. When you get into this tunnel, when you are exiting the tunnel and you are entering Portbou, on the Portbou side, you are just looking directly at that pine tree. Also, like if you go from the that street Pujada de Mirador that is leading up to the cemetery, from the base of that street, you have a great view of that pine tree. There's this glorious pine tree there that can be seen from all angles. It seems that before there was a pine tree, the old photos of Portbou, they have built the town so that everybody can have a view of that slope of that Neolithic tombstone, like the rocks that are forming some kind of circle, and the circle can be seen only when you are looking that from the western side. When you go there, where is the cathedral, there is a tunnel of Riera, and then at the side there is a cathedral, and so the cathedral to the cemetery, or the cathedral to the pine tree, is directly east-west direction. Then you can of course also look at the Walter Benjamin Passage monument, which is directly pointing to that pine tree, but in the straight line. I don't know what's the background story exactly, but the building of that monument of the Walter Benjamin got into financial difficulties, so the building was postponed for like 2 years. Meanwhile, who did participate in the financing of that. It was Generalitat de Catalunya and the Portbou, the town. So they kind of, we don't know how much they helped that project, but they obviously did direct the building of this passage monument in a manner that it points at that pine tree, because this is what they worship, you know. Okay, not to go too much off topic, I want to say, like, you know, look at the photos of the case. There are photos which I mentioned from the people from Portbou, and there are photos from the police, and you can just see so many evidence of the murder, of the ritual murder, all the details. I made hundreds of videos about that. Yeah, so look at it for yourself. I would also advise you to look at the photos of the autopsy made by Dr. Lacassi, and also there is very good quality photos from the morgue after the autopsy that was made in an attempt to identify Evi, and these colored photos, I think you have to go on that website. It's like Jane Doe, Portbou, unidentified, hanged from Portbou, something like this, and you will find this website with these photos. The hair of Evi and things, it's just, you know, like, it's not possible that Dr. Lacassi didn't just pretend not to see those things, you know. There are many, you know, basically in the hair of Evi, and there's also a photo from the autopsy where she had the rope around her, still the rope around her neck, and on that rope there's some kind of emblem, some kind of thing. There's something here, you know, very strange. I think this object was in the hair of Evi. If you look of Evi hanged, you see in the back of her head there's like some kind of emblem. It looks like some kind of mask. There are things on the tree there, you know, many evidence of the murder, many evidence of some strange ritual murder. And then also this mythology of this ritual sacrifice of a girl, you can find in the old painting. There is this painting, it's called The World, El Mundo, and it was painted in the year 1929. So it was like about 60 years before Evi was murdered. And this big photo is like a masterpiece that is held in the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid. It's 3 by 3 meters, and when you watch carefully the details, you know, like the painter Angeles Santos, this lady, she talked about how she painted different cities that she lived in, but it's all about the Portbou. It's all about the Portbou. When you see like the motif of the angel that takes the light from the sun and then to light the stars, and it goes down the stairs, is the same stairs, is the symbol of the passage grave that you can see in the motif of the Walter Benjamin monument. And there's this passage grave where you have one entrance and then you have this passage to the cave, and then you get to the place where all these corpses are, the bones of of the people that were buried in the Neolithic times, the Neolithic tomb that I'm telling you, that it's in that hill in Portbou, in the cemetery hill, where the pine tree is. Uh, and almost 1 year before, there was a attempt to exhumate Evi from that mass grave that is on that field, um, in the cemetery in Figueras, where supposedly she would be buried. That was done. This exhumation was done in the December of last year, 2024, and almost 1 year before, I said she is not there. Her body is not there. They have stolen the body of Evi. 1990, in that year, and they have buried it in that hill in Portbou. That's where her remains are. And before somebody investigate that hill and try to exhumate the body is there. I mean, this case got a lot of publicity, and it got the publicity through internet, and all this evidence I gathered through the internet, reading all articles, reading all the history of Portbou, watching all the photos of Portbou, the old photos, the new photos, watching the details from the Google Earth application, Wikiloc, satellite maps and photos, and watching all the Crimes episodes, and other stuff. Without internet, it would be impossible for me even to know about this case. The case was forgotten, and only a few local people know. She wouldn't be identified without the internet. And as this technology is advancing, I think these murderers would be eventually exposed, because it's there is a lot of people who know about this case. There is more and more people who are interested in this case, and the technology would simply provide new evidences, new insights into the case. If you would go through the old articles about Evi, the old articles published in Catalonia in Spain, and you would get all that, a lot of different versions made up and changed and stuff like this, to cover up for what really happened. First it was like a suicide, then they tried to pin it on the Austrians, and this Austrian band, the Austrian campers, they made crucial mistake in avoiding media, after she was identified. Could be that they are being threatened, could be that they are blackmailed, whatever. I'm just saying, have you heard anybody from Portbou telling you about that hill, about the strange things that can be seen on that hill, If you the famous photo where Evie is hanged and with that bed sheet, covered with the bed sheet, just at the side you see these square things, square object, the square stone, like the stone naturally are not that like formed in that way, it looks like a man-made structure, and then when you look at the other things there, it's also man-made, like of course there's a lot of vegetation now, there are too many curious eyes, and people are also visiting that hill apparently, which they try to discourage the people from Portbou writing articles about the morbid tourism and what these people did is disgraceful, but they just don't want too much curious people on that hill. That's the thing, and the mayor of Portbou promised to put a statue of Evie in her honor, to honor her and all the people, that are dead and unidentified, but not on that hill because he said that he doesn't want people coming there, it's a bit morbid and stuff. They are going to build it inside the cemetery, they don't want people coming. It's their sacred terrain where the tombstone is. So back to the exhumation, everybody was telling that she was buried there in that mass grave in the Figueras, that the workers of the cemetery, they needed a place, so they took her out of that grave, the niche that was appointed by the judge, and and they threw her to the mass grave. I say, no way, I don't think so. Knowing all that I know about the case, about those people, they have stolen the body and they have taken that to Portbou, and nobody believed them. People said, no, are you crazy? That's not possible. She's there and stuff. So they have started exhumation, and they dig up the whole field there, the mass grave. They found more than 200 bodies, and they didn't find nothing of Evie. She was embalded. The body should be well preserved in a plastic bag. They didn't find nothing. They found amputated arms and legs of people. The bones are there, other their bodies, and her body is not there. They have digged up the whole field, 3 meters deep. Nothing. Like there is a famous quote. You can fool some people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Like slowly it's all the secrets are discovered if there is enough people long enough trying to uncover that, find the truth about that. For 1 year, I was certain about the motive of that was ritual murder, and that was murder. All the details, on the body of Evie, on that pine tree and stuff. But believing the people from Portbou and believing the episode of the crimes of Carlos Porta and his team, and also reading the book. I have a book here about La Noia de Portbou, about the Evie's case, and it's just fabrication, apart from some details that can be helpful, it's totally fabricated. It's just made to think, to make you think that the Austrian campers are the guilty ones. So I believed that for 1 year, and slowly I saw that what people from Portbou are saying doesn't make any sense. The testimony of Carmina Cole doesn't make any sense. The way the crimes, this crime program film that doesn't make any sense. Did they ever bother to come on that hill and film surroundings of that hill? That was the last thing they would, like, sure, they were on that hill when they brought sister of Evie, when she was identified. That was like in June, it was filmed in June 2022. But didn't show you the surroundings. Also, nobody from Portbou didn't talk about some of that things. What is on that hill, and they never mentioned this myth. There must be some kind of myth that's there in Portbou about the ritualistic sacrificing, about that graves. They have some kind of myth. It's called like the sunset at Portbou, that they seem to be fascinated at. Why is that? Because the graves, these Neolithic graves, you can find the evidence in the archaeology. The Neolithic graves that are, throughout the Spain, but especially on that part of Costa Brava, near Portbou, many these old graves, Neolithic graves, these temples, were built on the slope facing the sunset. The light of the sunset is just hitting this entrance of that tomb, and it's illuminating something inside, and the sunset at Portbou is setting. The sun is just setting, just behind the church, the cathedral of Portbou, and this tunnel of Riera, this is general direction. You just go on the map of Portbou and look direction east-west. This is the most important. And if you look the straight line of east-west and you can trace this line from that pine tree to the sunset that is in this canyon, that is coincides with where the Riera, the little river that is coming down from the Pyrenees down into the Bahia, into the port of Portbou. In the end, I want to say that this is something horrible. This is horrible what happened to Evie. It's really terrible, it's not possible that she was hanged at the sunset on the 3rd of September 1990 without somebody in the Portbou, somebody, a lot of people seeing that there is something happening. There is a group of people, under that pine tree doing something, and then they filmed that, and then they published these photos, saying that they were photographed in the morning, when they were photographed in the evening, in the sunset. Now there is a question like how they could transport her that fast from Toscana, from Florence to Portbou. I don't know. I really don't know if it was possible to do with some kind of speedboat, or it was some kind of combining speedboat with some fast car. My best guess is that she was transported with a private airplane, probably from Florence to Girona airport, or could be something else. I don't know, but the photos don't lie, you know. Examining carefully the photos they were took on the evening. Also, if you watch the report from the Guardia Civil, the judicial police headed by Enrique Gomez Varela, the estimation of time of death of Evi was like midnight or 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. Till 8 a.m. So like it was estimated so that she was like found before 8 and you know throughout the night, but you know why didn't Guardia Civil put it in the documents that it was estimated time of death, I don't know, between 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. this morning hours. It was like from midnight. I don't remember if it was in the documents. It was midnight or 11 p.m. You know, till 8 a.m. throughout all the night, and forensic Lacassi didn't bother to try to estimate the how many the time of the death, you know. He never mentioned trying to estimate the time of the death of her, you know, kind of the how long was she hanging on that rope, you know. If she was hanged there in the evening just before sunset, that would be about 8 p.m. 3rd of September 1990 at 8 p.m. and they took her off that rope about 11 o'clock next morning, so she would be hanging there for 13 hours. But I'm not forensic, you know, like I cannot talk about looking at the photos, you know, and looking at her neck and coloration and stuff. We need forensic expertise on that subject, on that topic. But the photos are the shades and the sunlight, the sky, the shades, and all that is just those photos were not the photos, you know. If you watch the photos of Guardia Civil on that morning, and it's completely different shades, and especially if you look at the neck of Evi, you know, and you know, like this part of the shoulder is lighted up. This part of the neck here is coming the shade. It's because I'm talking about the photos of Guardia Civil. It's because the sun is hitting behind her, like in her back, while the photos that were done by the people in Portbou, that were done, what I'm claiming to be the evening on 3rd of September, there is a light here. The neck is lighted from the left side of the neck on the body of Evi, and that direction there is the west. The sun is setting and it's illuminating from that side, not from from backside, you know, from the contrary, you know, on the Guardia Civil took that photos 9 a.m. In the morning, 10 a.m. somewhere around there, and okay, the sun was a little bit up high, but it's different, you know, like you compare the two sets of photos, and they were done at a different time of the day. This video is I'm making this video for the people who are going to bother to put some time into to investigate that stuff, but it took me so much time to get to that I'm giving you tips where to look, so you can very quickly realize it yourself, you know. The justice, the truth will come out sooner or later. I hope sooner, but it's, you know, I need your help. I need your help to see that basically in the internet I'm the only one who is saying the truth. You know, like there might be some people who know that, but they don't want to. They just don't want to go against the mainstream, or they don't want to put themselves in danger or whatever. I don't trust no one from whatever they are claiming from Portbou, because these people is how they could hang her at the sunset. You know, it's not dark, it's still visible. You know, a few hundred meters down there is a there was a garrison of 200 Guardia Civils. Up there on the hill is the frontier, where you have people. Somebody must have seen that there's something happening down there, and nobody said nothing, you know, like the Neolithic tomb that is on that slope where the pine tree is and around. The church doesn't say nothing, and the people in charge of Portbou, the civil government there, they're not saying nothing. You know, the people who were in charge of Figueras cemetery, where they stole the body of Evie, they are not saying nothing. The forensic are not saying nothing, and the investigators are not saying nothing, and the journalists are not saying nothing. They are all lying, you know. They have fabricated their own version of that, and we have like this big silence, and it's disgusting that there's nobody in the Portbou that would publicly tell something about it. You know, it was 2,000 people living there. After she was hanged, what was the topic in the winter? The whole town was talking about that stuff. Do you think they didn't exchange somebody seeing something and they didn't talk about it? For me, this is like they're cowards, you know, like, because they have their own families, you know. A girl was hanged there for what, you know? And after all this year, they're still like saying nothing. When somebody says that they're like fabricating some bullshit, you know, they're lying. Terrible, you know. That's horrible. That's all for me for tonight. Take care, see you in the next video.